Periodically, we get Dean Myrick, Commissioner of the ACCC, with us to talk about the conference, talk about what has happened and what will happen. So we are about to start a brand new year sports-wise in the ACCC, and want to get back with Dean. Dean, how you doing?
I'm good. We're ready to rock and roll.
Man, and talk about rocking and rolling. What about a great year last year? And if you're going to top last year this year, man, you got a hard act to follow. That was a great year of all kinds of sports. Let's start with the fact, and maybe we'll put this to rest after this conversation, but the D1, D2 thing, I know we've talked about it quite often. Everything go pretty smooth with the two divisions in the ACCC?
I thought it went extremely well. It accomplished what we set out to accomplish, to give additional opportunities for not only our teams and members, but for the student athletes to experience postseason. We also had additional teams able to experience that national tournament experience and do well. So I thought it went extremely well and in most cases exceeded expectations. So I expect it to be the same this year and even better. And last year was a great year, including all Division One, Division Two, male, female, all sports. And I mean some of the well, really, and I can say honestly, all of the finishes we had in our postseason tournaments were fantastic. Whether it was volleyball to baseball, softball, basketball, um, it was um, it was crazy, but it was exciting, and probably one of the most exciting postseasons we've had since I've been here. And I mean, it came down to the wire and everything. So, our tournament host did a great job of hosting as well. So, we're looking forward to an even better year.
Before we leave last year behind and before we leave the D1, D2 talk behind, is there going to be anything different from the standpoint of those district games that Division Two had? I know last year, I think primarily played in Florida. Well, the exception would be basketball, but will it be uh, same format from the standpoint of leaving the conference and going to a district game before getting to the nationals?
Everything except D1 baseball is the same. The only thing that changes is basketball will now go to Florida and play. Baseball will now come to Alabama and play, so on and so forth. Um, Volleyball, we will now have our own tournament. Mississippi will have their own tournament, and then our two winners will play each other. So that is a change. And then D1 baseball, we will have our own tournament. Louisiana will have their own tournament. Then our winner will play their winner after that. So those are the only two changes, not drastic. Um, it still includes the same regions and states. It just flip flops, maybe, who's hosting. So I guess you could say the D1 baseball is a big change, but I think it is for the better. And I commend our coaches for looking at the big picture and, coming to that conclusion.
Does that mean an earlier start for the D1 conference tournament to
Nah,
accommodate that district?
no, it'll be the same time frame. Instead of an 8-team double, and we're working on that with our coaches. Um, it'll be a 16 tournament. It's just a matter of what that format will look like. And then the following Thursday, after we finish, we will have a 3-game series, two out of three. And that'll be Thursday, Friday, Saturday following the conclusion of our tournament. So
And one
same
other
day, same
topic.
dates.
Okay. And one other topic before we leave last year, and that is the fact that the championship game in men's and women's D1 basketball was aired all over the state of Alabama on Alabama Public TV. That potentially is huge for the conference. And I understand it happens again this year.
It will, and we're grateful to them and for working with us. And that was a big addition for us. And I do want to say, we're not dismissing the Division Two tournament, but APT covers the High School Association State Tournament, which is the same time as our D2 tournament. So that is why that happened the way it is or did. So yeah, we're excited to continue working with them, and you working with them, and all three of us working together, and to make that an even better production.
All right, on to 24 and 25. Let's first look at locations of conference tournaments. And I see some changes, and we begin, as a matter of fact, the new year with a new spot in volleyball, and that is going to Albertville and Sand Mountain. So, how did that happen?
Well, they're demolishing the Civic Center where we're at, so that won't even exist anymore come November. So, Bishop State and the city of Mobile treated us like royalty when we were down there, and did a great job. But and that demolition and rebuilding that Civic Center has been in the works for years, but it was finally finalized. And so I believe they're starting demolition. It's either this month or next month on that. So we put that out for bids. Sand Mountain came in with a great bid, and what they can do for us. So it's a very nice facility, and we'll go there for this year. D2 men's basketball will move to the University of Montevallo. We were able to finalize that, so that'll be a good addition to our postseason sites. So everything else will stay the same. D1 men's and women's basketball will be back at Alabama Huntsville, who did a fantastic job. That was, I'll say our best tournament since I've been here. Not only from a host standpoint, but from a competition standpoint. Fabulous games that we had that came down to actually the buzzer in both championship games, one in overtime, and Wallace State missed that shot at the buzzer to beat Shelton. So, we look forward to going back there, and and then we continue our long relationship with Alabaster, and we will also be back in Oxford for D1 and D2 baseball.
Now, women's basketball at the D2 level, is it at Montevallo
It's
as well?
also at Montevallo. So D2 men's and women's basketball will both be at Montevallo at the same time, as is D1 men's and women's basketball at UAH at the same time.
We are about 2 or 3 years now into NIL. Are we seeing it have, well, it definitely has got an impact where talent coming into the conference is concerned. But I mean, from the standpoint of, I guess, monetarily seeing money dispersed to athletes, are we seeing that being a big issue?
We are not here at all. I think we've had less than a handful that gets a small. They're not going to retire on it by any means. And even some of them, hey, a couple of white T-shirts and $25 or something like that. So no, we're not seeing that affect us at all, to be honest with you. So and I say that fortunately.
A lot of changes over the course of your tenure as the commissioner of the ACCC. A lot of schools adding sports. Really, to me, it may be. I haven't sat down and figured it out, but it might be the biggest conference in the country as far as the number of schools involved. I know Mississippi's got quite a few schools involved as well, but there has been such an increase, and I'm hearing schools talk about adding additional sports. How have you been so successful in getting these schools to add additional sports to their programs?
Well, it's definitely not me. I attribute this to the presidents. For the first time, well, the last few years, we have all permanent presidents. When I started here, I think half were interim, and those interims were getting replaced by interims. But we have a fantastic group of presidents that really supports athletics, the mission of two-year college athletics. Our Chancellor Baker, is a huge proponent of athletics and has been very instrumental in allowing that growth. We have added in the last 3 years, 46 teams. We were able to grow our under populated sports such as cross country. Tennis has grown a little bit, and we were able to add 4 new schools to that. We have, I won't say the name, but we've got one who just applied for membership, and we're working on the other one. And if we can get that, we will have 100% of our colleges have athletics, which is, I don't think anyone in the country can say 100% of their state has athletics. So it's definitely nothing that I have done. I try to help them all I can, and push certain sports. That is also budget friendly. Flag football is a hot topic of discussion now in a good way. Of possibly looking at that in the fall of 2025. Flag football has exploded at the high school level here, and it's an exciting game to watch, exciting game to play, and it gives our female student athletes an additional opportunity to play as well. So, we're looking to grow that, and hopefully add a couple more members. So I attribute it all to the leadership of our colleges and our system.
And I wasn't going to bring it up, but you did bring up football, so I've got to ask. Mid '80s, last time Alabama had a football program, that was at Marion Military Institute. Probably every year I hear somebody ask, "Hey, is JUCO football coming to Alabama?"
It's not coming to Alabama, and I do, and I'm glad you brought that up. If we are able to establish flag football, that is not a precursor to bringing football to the States. So let's dispel the rumors now, and we're not looking to add football at this time, and it's actually not even been discussed, with our colleges and so on. So we'll dispel that rumor now. It's just female flag football, and it will stop at that.
One last question, and typically we are in these conversations so involved in the previous year or the upcoming year. I don't get an opportunity to ask what your goals are for future years. So let me take that opportunity. What does Dean Myrick want to see come to the ACCC, maybe in 26, 27, or 30?
We and we have started this discussion. We really need to rebrand ourselves. Looking at a name change, rebranding, new logos, new everything, and have a more modern, fresh look. With the conference, you probably as well as anyone, ACCC does not roll off the tongue, and you have to ask yourself, did I say enough C's, or and um, and we kind of get lost in the shuffle because you have the ACCS and the ACCA, and a lot of ACC whatever. So we would like to separate ourselves to be geared more toward showcasing our story and our past. This conference has a phenomenal past that we need to tell that story. So we're looking to rebrand, get to a point where we can constantly be able to tell that story, and continue to grow, and make more people, and especially in our state, aware of what we are about, and what we do. And I like to tell people we're more than athletics, and I attribute this to our great coaches and athletic directors, and definitely our student athletes. Close to 55, 56% of all our student athletes had over a 3.0 last semester. We had close to 100 teams get a 3.0 last year. And so, our coaches and athletic directors do a fabulous job of preparing our student athletes for life, off the court or field or course. So that's what I'm most proud of, and hope to continue that.
The rebranding aspect, do you have a timeline that you'd like to see this implemented?
I don't. It'd be nice for fall of 25. My previous goal was fall of 24. but we ran into some roadblocks there. So we're looking to. I don't know what that looks like, Robert, but there is support from our presidents and ads to explore this and see where it goes. And is there um, a name that can tie us into the state? And I know obviously Alabama, but is there another way that we can connect to the state with a name, with a branding, and and like I said, get that more modern, fresh start, and for the future.
Dean Myrick, Commissioner of the ACCC, always a pleasure to talk with you to get updated on what's going on in the conference. And I'm sure we will talk again during the course of the year. And if not before, I guess we'll see you in Sand Mountain for volleyball.
We will. We 4 games tonight, starting the regular season. So I wish all our teams, coaches, student athletes the best of luck. And I urge the people out there to pay attention, because we've got some great stories to share.
Dean Myrick, thanks for being with us.
Look forward to it, Robert. Thanks for all you do for us.